Welcome to the DoubleACS Daily News. In the spirit of Halloween, an Unlikely Story recently hosted a horror writers panel. DoubleACS was there to cover the event.
My name's Nunnally, and I wrote a novel called Lightning Wears a Red Cape. It's coming out from Cheesine Publications this month. And an Unlikely Story is just a great bookstore, and I was really excited to get the invitation from Karl to come and participate in this panel on Halloween. I know how much everybody likes Halloween, especially amongst the horror crew. The novel itself is actually a novel about emerging superpowers in mostly marginalized populations, which, as you can imagine, would cause all sorts of anxiety amongst the powers that be. What attracts me to the genre? I think it's the fantastic aspects of things. There's so much in reality. We hear this a lot. It's a bit of a cliche that there's plenty of horror around us in real life. Just read the news, everybody says that. And it's so much more fun, I think, to be able to escape into something that may or may not resolve the way you want it, but it's a ride as opposed to a reality that needs to be dealt with. I really enjoy the thrilling aspects of writing, the action of things, not necessarily tons of gunplay in particular or tons of violence, but just having a heart-pounding moment, getting somebody right on the edge of their fingernails hanging off a cliff is kind of where I want it to be. I think what's really evolved is that more things are being included in the genre. It's the only literary genre that is an emotion and not necessarily a category. So horror is kind of smeared across everything. There's the old argument about is Frankenstein science fiction or horror? Alien's the same way. It's both. And there's so many things that fall into the horror genre that we think of as other things. You can find generally what I'm up to at my website, ericnunnally.us, ERICKNUNNALLY.us. Thank you to anybody who reads it. If you like my books, share it with a friend. If you don't like it, share it with an enemy.
My name is Karl, and I'm actually a bookseller here, one of the writers that works in the store. So I've had 5 novels published, all of them horror, and I am here to promote the newest one. I think it's a genre that goes away and comes back and goes away and comes back. Tends to be times when there's something happening in the country that it gets more and more popular. Right now we're in a resurgence of horror, and I think a lot of that is due to the nature of the divide of the country at the moment. Same thing happened in the 70s when The Exorcist came out, Rosemary's Baby, during Vietnam. So it's kind of a cyclical thing, but it never ever goes away. It's just everybody enjoys a good scare, especially this time of year. I tended to write more action-oriented horror, so a lot of my influences are actually from 80s movies. So the tackier the better, probably. My first novel, I called it Die Hard with Werewolves. It's that kind of feel. So that's where I go back to the 80s, the 70s, best period of horror film. And I tend to write very visually, so that's where mine comes from. I just have a new one out called 3 Days Gone. It's about a detective who gets all the worst and weirdest cases, and so there is a drag queen and an exorcist rapper, and it's very over the top and kind of campy, very funny. And the next book is actually a non-horror novel that I'm writing, which is more of a coming-of-age story. So I'm going to try my hand at it. WilliamDKarl.com, just straight across, no spaces. Everybody, happy Halloween. Enjoy the season.
That's it for today's update. You can watch all of our content by visiting our website, DoubleACS.com, by downloading the DoubleACS mobile app, or if you have a Roku, you can search for the DoubleACS Roku channel. For DoubleACS News, I'm Austin Ricketts.